Greetings everyone and welcome back to another video. As previously promised, I'm continuing my bloody DK adventures until I reach all 15s in time. In this video, we're returning to Argus, the homeworld of the Eredar, and we're tackling a plus 15 seed of the Triumvirate. Let's dive in, shall we? We're starting out pretty strong with a classic 3-pack pull. At this point in the season, it is pretty standard to run either 2 or even 3 subjugators as the lust pool. The only concern is, of course, to not overlap the chains of subjugation casts. And if you have any snare removals in your group, this mechanic becomes very manageable and okay. The whole room goes by very smooth. I'm of course focusing on the casters. And when the Dark Conjurer dies, I'm slowly making my way to the next part. Zural the Ascendant is the first boss. And everyone, please, let's take a moment and acknowledge that this bad boy looks beefy and doesn't skip leg day. Jokes aside, this fight is a pretty simple one. The group needs to be careful with where they leave the void pools so that the area does not get too crowded and out of space. And we need to manage the 2 adds either by killing them or CCing them. The Oozing Slam cast is a big AoE dot on the whole group. That's the healer mechanic. And of course, what can be a fight without a blood DK tip here is that anti-magic shell can avoid entirely the void / the tank buster, can help soak with the mitigation part. The encounter goes by with only a crucial mistake on my end. I've mistaken the stun with the grip and end up, of course, touching the boss with an ad, which results in the death of our druid and my cheap death. Basically, massive damage taken just moments before the fight ends. Everyone panicked for a bit. Cocoon was used, of course combat res was used even though it was a waste, but mistakes were made. If by some chance this video reaches the healer and the DPS guys that have been in the group, I sincerely apologize. We wipe our sweaty foreheads and head into a little bit of RP onto the next pull. In order to summon the boss Saprish, we need to make our way through this courtyard and defeat the 4 Rift Wardens. These guys are no joke, and they are tethered to their respective portals, meaning that they can't leave the area or else they'll start pulsating heavy AoE damage. Of course, all 4 Wardens will be tackled with other packs on top of them for the sake of time and for the sake of the count. Be very mindful of the Shadow Guard charge ability, as it hurts like a truck if you get too far from them. And these guys are awfully paired with the Umbral War Adept, which has a pushback. Luckily for us, Blood Death Knight has an answer for this mechanic, for this pushback, and of course that's Advance, which negates the pushback, making it much safer. With all 4 Rift Wardens cleared, Saprish appears from a void portal alongside his trusted companions, Darkfang and Shadewing. These nuisances, of course, of the fight. Casting the boss casts void bombs, which covered the floor with explosive orbs. Phase dash is the mechanic that basically eliminates the explosive orbs. It's a circle around each player that you are required to go and soak those bombs. Of course, if you are a DK, you do have anti-magic shell. Jokes aside, I got to admit this ability is the most interesting and fun thing regarding Death Knight. It's basically a minigame on its own of what can you soak with the anti-magic shell. So basically, like I said, I'm using AMS to run around and soak as many void bombs I can, thus freeing my team a bit. Also, Dread Screech is a thing. is basically when Shadewing jumps to a player and starts casting. I cannot specify how important this cast is to be interrupted, as of course it pretty much guarantees a wipe if not. Other than that, Darkfang puts a bleed on a random target, and the encounter is pretty much rinse and repeat with the same thing. The Void Beastmaster Hunter Saprish goes down, and that brings us to the second part of the dungeon. This part is infested with pesky void-infused destroyers and dire void benders. I recall healing while fighting these guys, and let me tell you, they require a lot of healing and a bit of coordination so the group doesn't overlap some of the abilities. As a tank though, I'm trying to do my part by making sure the mobs are positioned well, and that there is space, of course, for the group to avoid set abilities, and slowly but surely push forward.
Rip Essence. Rip Shadowman.
Arriving at the courtyard where Viceroy Nazar resides, we're making our way through slow and steady, interrupting dire voidbenders, dodging the orbs of the abyss, and finishing up the remaining percentage. Basically, these guys just mimic the same mechanics as the boss, as Viceroy Nazar has, which always, from my point of view, that's always been a great way to get your exercise in with that mechanic, with that particular mechanic, just until the boss, so you familiarize yourself with it. The boss activates once all the Grand Shadow Weavers are dealt with. The encounter is a bit chaotic, I must admit, between interrupting Mind Blast cast, that's mostly a tank and a DPS responsibility, dealing with the mass void infusion, that unfortunately brings us to the healer job, right? So a lot of healing required there, and dodging the void orbs. I cannot specify, can I highlight how many times we've wiped as groups due to the fact that those pesky orbs kill us. And of course, focusing the umbral tentacles. The fight can get very messy, I'm not gonna lie, very fast. Fortunately, we deal with the boss as clean as we can, making it a pleasure, of course, playing alongside with this group, good DPS and a great healer. This leaves us with Lura, our last boss of the run. Another encounter where the healer is the one hero, basically, is the one that feels the pain and is required to have as much throughput as possible. The fight is pretty easy to understand, although executing it requires a bit of exercise. Basically, you are using the targeted beams to disable the Notes of Despair. Once all 6 are deactivated, the burn phase begins. It's basically where we pop Lust, we pop potions, because that's a 200% damage buff window. Rinse and repeat until the boss, of course, it's done. This concludes our run. Hope you all are enjoying the videos as much as I enjoy making them, to be completely honest. It's a great journey, and whoever's out there and listening, I really appreciate the time you give me. If you do, of course, a like, a share, and a subscribe would go a really long way, especially because we are a small channel, and I'm trying to make this work. Thanks for watching, and feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay frosty.